So this is the main sprit for the Maryland Dove. The Maryland Dove's main sail is a four-sided sprit rigged sail, which is a type of rig that was very common for vessels of this size in the early 17th century and was later overtaken by the gaff rig, which a lot more people are familiar with in sort of modern traditional vessels. While all of the other spars that we built for the Dove are solid as they would have been in the 17th century, with the center of the tree running down the middle of the spar, the sprit, for a few reasons, we decided to build hollow. You can kind of imagine from the sail plan, this is a spar that moves around a lot and is handled a lot as the boat sails. Big benefit to having this one be relatively light, which is the case with a hollow spar, much lighter for the same amount of strength. It would be more difficult to source a piece of wood that would be of sufficient quality to build this spar solid. So this spar is built using what is called bird's mouth construction, which there's a little diagram here that shows the cross section of the spar. So you can see it's made of 8 what we call staves, 8 long skinny pieces that have a simple joint cut along the edge of each piece that makes them lock together. And so you can see here my strong back, which I set up in a perfectly straight and level line, and this creates essentially a negative mold to help glue up the spar nice and straight. Might be hard to tell on the camera, but this spar is 8.5 inches thick in the middle and about 5.5 at each end, so it tapers out from the middle to both ends. And that taper is created by each of those 8 staves being tapered edgewise. And so when they go together, the size of that octagon changes along the length of the spar, and then the outside surface of each of those 8 pieces ends up on the outside of the finished spar. So you're essentially just knocking down the corners to round it, which is a lot more work than it sounds like. And we're just about finished here. Pretty much finished all of the shaping, and it'll just be sanding it smooth from here on out. You can see there's a little section in the middle that is left octagonal. Now that place in the middle of the spar and each of the ends have solid blocking in the middle. And that's because that's where things attach to the spar and put a lot of sort of compression. They squeeze the spar really tightly. So we need those points to be stronger, and that solid blocking has a long internal tapers to avoid creating hard spots in the spar. This thing needs to be able to bend and sway in the rig without breaking, so you can see it's fairly flexible. And that, again, that hollow construction yields a very integrally strong spar. This is a very flexible and resilient spar that should last as long as it's well maintained. This will be a spar that will be around for a long, long time.